People of the world. So this project is starting as all my projects. I started it a few years ago, but I was planning on making boombox, but then I didn't. Yeah, whatever. So some time ago I saw Jimmy Diresta's box idea. There's basically a cube which you can open like this, and it's 6 squares with 45-degree angles. As you can see, my angles are a little bit wonky because my table saw is shitty, but nevertheless it was a very cool idea. I decided to make it. I made a couple of these boxes and we made this huge one, the same idea, just a lot bigger. So a few days ago I was toying with the idea to make music box. So this is Jimmy Diresta's inspired music box. And for this you will need this little box. I will put link in the description where Jimmy Diresta is making one. A couple of speakers, so it was like $40. Then you will need an cheap amplifier. I picked it up from eBay for around $7 for 2. You will need MP3 module. Those cost around $3. You will need something to power it. In this case, 12-volt power supply. 4 buttons. They look like arcade buttons, so I like the look of them. Couple bucks on eBay as well. A little bit of wire and little button. And solder the battery leads and as well the speaker leads. I'm going to do that on the separate module because I have already started with that one. You need to solder those 2 little points for each button if you want to make external buttons. If you want to do this, just plainly stick it on the top. There is a cover which I lost, but there is a nice cover, so then you don't need to do any additional steps. So just put it in and that's it. You will save like, I don't know, ton of time. But nevertheless, let's start. So firstly, measure how big of a hole you're going to need, and then this is the biggest I have, and this should work. After, you will be left with 2 holes on the sides. The finish a little bit scratched, but we'll need to repaint those. We can pre-fit the speakers. Seems about right. I would suggest you to pre-drill the holes. So, we have both speakers in place. Would be pre-drill 4 holes for the buttons. Time to pre-fit the buttons. Okay, next step would be to make a hole for the USB connector. So you need to pick drill which is a little bit smaller than connector. There is better way to do this, but after a lot of drilling, then filing and sanding, finally have my USB in place. Sure, I will need to fill the hole a little bit, but also I needed to cut this plastic part off. Soldered all the buttons in place, soldered the infrared. after cutting the hole for the screen, but it is fairly deep inside, so I need to somehow make a bubble. So now I'm kind of disappointed that I chose to round on this hole. Now we have to install the amplifier. Very easy. But the only problem is, again, potentiometer is not big enough to fit through the hole. What I have to do now is desolder potentiometer. Now all you have to do is to solder wires, 6 wires here and here. So drill the hole for the potentiometer to go in. Is to install on-off switch. I drilled the hole, now I need to file it. On-off button is in place. And we got the wire. Tie a knot. Now I just take it. -5 goes directly to the amplifier itself. We can put the wire from the MP3 player as well as power cable. So we have wired the MP3 player, this glued in place right here. We soldered the buttons. So what's left to do now is to connect the speakers. So it's good to check if you have full memory or not, but anyways, so little recap. We have a wire, button, we have a potentiometer in place, everything wired inside. So potentiometer goes to amplifier, amplifier output goes to those two speakers right here. Power, which goes to the switch, goes to the amplifier, and as well to the MP3 player, which is there. Speakers are in place, grill is in place. So this is finished product. As you can see, paint up top is still wet, but we have our Pioneer speakers, we have our volume control. Let's test it out. Let's turn it on. Automatically it tries to catch a radio. Maybe in the future I would put antenna out. actually produces quite nice and a lot of sound. So, if you like videos like this, maybe in the future I will provide them for you. So, thank you for watching and goodbye.